moments before sunrise. A small workshop rests in gentle stillness, the air cool and unmoving, carrying a faint and soft smell of wet earth that lingers quietly around a wooden table. A piece of clay sits there, untouched, calm and waiting, its surface smooth and slightly damp, as if it has been resting for a long time. The light has not yet arrived, and the room remains dim, with only a soft hint of gray shaping the space. Nothing moves, nothing changes, and everything feels steady and safe, held in a slow and quiet pause. And as this peaceful morning begins, you can remain here, listening softly, letting each calm moment pass without effort. So if you would like to rest, you can stay a little longer and follow this gentle rhythm as it slowly guides you into a deep and comfortable sleep. Chapter 1. The potter wakes slowly before the sun has risen, and for a quiet moment he remains still, lying on his simple bed, feeling the cool air resting gently around him. And nothing asks him to move. Nothing changes. Everything remains calm and steady as the early morning settles softly into the room. His eyes open without effort, and he looks into the dim space where the light has not yet arrived. Only a faint gray tone touching the edges of the wooden walls. And he breathes slowly, allowing the silence to remain a little longer before beginning. After some time, he shifts gently and sits up, placing his feet onto the floor, and the surface feels cool and firm beneath him, familiar and unchanged. And he pauses there again, letting the moment stretch quietly before standing. When he rises, his movements are slow and simple, reaching for his clothes and putting them on in the same calm order as every morning. Each motion repeated, each step steady, without any need to hurry. He adjusts the fabric, ties it loosely, and lets his hands rest briefly before moving again. He walks toward the door and opens it gently, and the air outside feels cool and soft, touching his face in a calm and steady way. And the world remains dim, still wrapped in the quiet before sunrise. And nothing moves, nothing disturbs the silence. He steps outside and closes the door quietly behind him, and the faint sound fades quickly into the stillness. He begins to walk toward his workshop, his steps slow and even, following the same familiar path, and the ground beneath him feels slightly uneven, a mix of soil and worn wood, and each step creates a soft sound that disappears almost as soon as it is made. The air carries a faint scent of earth, damp and calm, and the world remains quiet without change. As he reaches the workshop, he pauses for a moment before the door, standing still, not thinking, not searching, only observing the quiet space before him. And everything remains as it always has been, steady and unchanged. Then he opens the door slowly and steps inside, and the air within feels slightly warmer, holding a soft and familiar scent of wet clay and wood. And the room remains dim, with only a small hint of light resting along the surfaces. He closes the door gently, and the sound fades quickly, leaving only the quiet presence of the room. And he stands still for a moment, allowing the calm to settle fully before beginning. The wooden table stands before him, and on it rests a piece of clay, smooth and slightly damp, its surface soft and cool. And he steps closer, reaching out slowly, and his fingers touch the clay lightly, feeling its texture, firm yet yielding. And he does not move it yet. He simply rests his hand there, allowing the contact to remain. After a moment, he lifts his hand, then places it again, repeating the same gentle motion, and the rhythm forms quietly. Touch, pause, touch again. He begins to prepare the tools, not quickly, not with urgency, but with small and careful movements, lifting each piece, placing it where it belongs, aligning them in a simple and familiar order. And each action is followed by a pause, and then another action, and the rhythm continues. Lift, place, pause. The wooden surfaces feel worn and smooth beneath his hands, shaped by many days of the same quiet work. And the air carries the soft scent of clay, steady and calm. And the light remains dim, creating gentle shadows that rest along the walls. He moves slowly around the space, adjusting, arranging, and preparing. And there is no change in pace, no sudden movement, only the same calm repetition that fills the room. He returns to the clay again, touching it lightly, pressing gently, not shaping yet, only feeling its softness, its quiet presence beneath his fingers. And then he pauses, letting the moment settle before moving again. The morning continues to unfold slowly, without any clear shift, and the potter remains within this quiet space, moving gently, preparing his tools, touching the clay, repeating the same simple actions. And nothing happens, nothing changes. Everything remains steady and calm as the day begins in the same soft and predictable way. Chapter 2. The potter stands quietly beside the wooden wheel, and for a long moment he does not begin. He simply rests his hands lightly on the edge, feeling the smooth and worn surface beneath his fingers, and the air remains calm and still around him, carrying the faint scent of damp clay and wood. The light in the workshop is soft and dim, not yet strong, only a gentle gray tone that settles over the space. And nothing moves quickly, nothing changes. Everything remains steady and quiet as the morning continues. After some time, he lowers lowers himself slowly onto the stool, his movements careful and unhurried, and he places his hands near the clay that rests at the center of the wheel. And he pauses again, not beginning immediately, only allowing the moment to stretch gently before anything happens. The clay sits there, soft and slightly damp, its surface smooth and cool, and his fingers hover just above it, not touching yet, simply waiting. Then, slowly, he begins to turn the wheel, not with force, not with speed, but with a gentle and steady motion. And the wheel begins to move, slowly at first, then settling into a quiet and even rhythm. And the sound it creates is soft, almost unnoticeable, blending into the stillness of the room. And he places his hands onto the clay, lightly at first, feeling its surface as it turns beneath his fingers. His movements are slow and careful, pressing gently, then easing away, and then pressing again. And the clay responds quietly, not changing suddenly, not shifting quickly, only moving in small and gradual ways. And he does not rush. He does not try to shape it quickly. He simply allows his hands to rest and move in a calm and steady pattern. Press, pause, release, and press again. The wheel continues its slow rotation, steady and unchanging, and the clay turns with it, its surface catching the soft light, reflecting a faint and gentle sheen of moisture. And his fingers move along its shape, guiding it slightly, though the changes are small, almost unnoticeable, and the rhythm continues without interruption. After a while, he pauses, lifting his hands away from the clay, and the wheel continues to turn slowly, and he watches it, not with focus, not with intention, only observing the quiet motion as it continues, and the room remains still, the air calm, the light soft, and nothing disturbs the quiet. After some time, he places his hands onto the clay again, repeating the same slow movements, pressing gently, shaping slightly, then pausing, and then pressing again. And the repetition forms a steady rhythm that fills the space. And there is no difference between one moment and the next, only the same quiet motion continuing. The texture of the clay feels soft and smooth beneath his fingers, cool and slightly damp, and his hands move over it slowly, without force, without urgency, and the wheel continues to turn beneath them, guided by his gentle motion, and the sound remains low and steady, blending into the stillness of the workshop. From time to time, he pauses again, lifting his hands, resting them lightly on his knees, and he watches the clay as it turns, not changing, not shifting suddenly, only continuing in the same quiet rhythm. And the light in the room remains dim and soft, casting gentle shadows that do not move quickly, only resting quietly along the walls and floor. Then he returns to the clay, once more, placing his hands carefully, repeating the same movements, pressing, shaping, pausing, and pressing again. And each action follows the same calm pattern, without variation, without change. And the time passes without measure, without any clear beginning or end, only flowing quietly from one motion to the next. The wheel continues its slow rotation. The clay continues to turn, and the potter remains seated, moving his hands in the same steady and gentle way. And the environment remains unchanged. The air still, the light soft, the scent of clay steady and calm. And nothing happens. Nothing interrupts the quiet. Everything continues in the same hypnotic rhythm, where each moment blends into the next, and the work carries on slowly, softly, and without end. The potter's hands begin to slow, without any clear moment of stopping, as if the movement simply becomes softer and softer until it gently fades, and he eases the pressure of his fingers against the clay, allowing the wheel to continue its quiet turning for a little while longer. And then he lifts his hands away, resting them lightly in his lap, and he watches as the clay continues to rotate slowly on its own. The shape has already formed, not suddenly, not perfectly, but in a calm and gradual way. And now it stands there, centered and still in its motion, smooth and quiet beneath the soft, dim light. The wheel turns a little more, then a little less, and its rhythm becomes slower, more spaced, until it gently comes to rest, and the room returns to stillness once again, holding only the faint presence of the finished piece, standing quietly where it has been shaped. He simply sits for a moment, looking at the pottery without judgment, without thought, only observing it as it is. And the air remains calm around him, carrying the soft scent of damp clay and wood, steady and familiar. After some time, he leans forward slowly and lifts the piece carefully, his hands steady, his movements gentle, and he places it aside with others that rest nearby, each one similar, each one shaped in the same quiet and repetitive way. And they stand together in silence, unchanged, waiting without any need for attention. He reaches for a small bowl of water, dips his fingers in, and the surface ripples gently, then becomes still again. And he rubs his hands slowly, feeling the clay soften and loosen, and the motion repeats. Rinse, pause, rinse again. The coolness of the water contrasts softly with the warmth of his skin, and he moves his hands in a steady pattern, washing away the remaining clay. lifts them from the water, small drops fall quietly, returning to the surface below without sound. He dries his hands with a cloth, moving slowly, pressing gently, and then he places the cloth aside, returning it to its usual place. The tools remain on the table, and he begins to clean them as well, lifting each one, wiping it carefully, removing the traces of clay in the same calm and repetitive way. And each action is followed by a small pause, and then another, forming the same quiet rhythm that is carried through the entire day. The wooden surfaces of the table feel smooth and slightly worn beneath his touch, and he wipes them slowly, moving his hand across the grain, and the light in the room has begun to shift, growing softer, dimmer, as the evening settles in. Shadows lengthen gently, not sharply, not suddenly, only stretching in a quiet and gradual way across the floor and walls. He continues cleaning, moving from one tool to another, from one surface to the next, until everything is as it was before, simple, ordered, and calm. And the room holds the same quiet stillness as the morning, though now it carries the soft weight of the day that has passed. He steps outside and closes the door gently behind him, and the sound fades quickly into the calm of the evening, and he begins to walk back along the familiar path, his steps slow and even, matching the same steady rhythm as the morning. The ground beneath his feet feels the same, slightly uneven, slightly firm, and the air is cool against his face, and the sky above has softened into deeper tones, though it changes gradually, almost without notice, and nothing interrupts the quiet, nothing shifts the calm. As he continues, his home comes into view, simple and still, resting in the same way as always. And he approaches slowly, opening the door gently and stepping inside. And the air within feels slightly warmer, holding a familiar and quiet presence. He closes the door softly, and the room settles into stillness once more. And he moves slowly, preparing for rest, removing his outer clothing, placing each piece aside in a calm and familiar way. And then he walks toward his bed. He lies down gently, the surface beneath him firm and steady, and the blanket rests lightly over him, and the air around him remains still, quiet, and calm. His breathing slows, becoming deeper and more even. And the day does not stand apart in separate moments. It blends into one continuous and gentle rhythm. The waking, the shaping, the cleaning, the returning, all part of the same quiet flow. And as his eyes close, that rhythm continues softly, without change, without interruption, carrying him gently into rest and into sleep. As the night settles quietly over everything, and nothing moves, nothing changes. Everything remains calm, still,